Hi guys, it's Cosmic Witchcraft. So I promised you guys another video, so here it is. This is going to cover basically my worldviews and how I view magic and the gods, how I view them. So first things first, I view the world as three stages. Like we live in the middle plane, and then there's a heavens, and then there's a hell or underworld. In those dimensions, there's multiple levels. There's not just one underworld. There's not just one hell. I think there's multiple levels of heaven where, like, angels reside, and then like on the middle plane we have humans, ghosts, and then in the underworld we have spirits, fairies, devils, demons, and all that kind of stuff. And they all kind of live on different areas. So, and then there's like a multiple dimension things, there's multiple heavens, there's multiple hells, there's multiple, all that kind of good stuff. And I kind of view it as multi-dimensional, for a lack of other word, but I don't think there's just one area, but most of my craft is focused on the middle and the underworld, not so much the heavenly dimensions, because I frankly don't care about them. And I think when we die, there's a whole bunch of other things that could happen. We could just become spirits and just enter the greater plane of spirits of like the underworld and like the spirits of everything. And then, or we could just go to a heavenly dimension and be in pure bliss for all eternity. Or we could just die and just, we don't have a spirit or anything like that. Like, I think some people, it depends on like the person and their lineage and where destiny has for them. As far as gods go, I kind of view most gods to be in existence. I don't view them all to be like completely different beings. Some beings are obviously the same, like Venus and Aphrodite, they're like the same goddess, but I don't really worship all of them, and I don't always want to worship all of them. Like, if my preference would be to worship like Poseidon, but I don't live near the ocean, so it's hard for me to worship Poseidon when I'm this far inland, because I don't have that connection. I don't have that ocean near me. And then the two main gods I focus on are witch gods, because the center of my craft is witchcraft. I am a witch before anything else. And those two gods are Hecate and the witch's devil. Hecate obviously being the goddess of witchcraft. She is the queen of the crossroads, queen of everything, basically. No, not really. But she's pretty much a bad bitch, and she's been appearing more and more and more over the course of my craft, and the more and more I get into my craft, the more and more I feel a connection to Hecate in general. So she's the main goddess I worship. And then there's the witch's devil, which I personally don't view as Pan or Dionysus or the horn god or Cernunnos or any of the other horned deities. I don't view all the horned deities to be the same god. I think they all represent different things, and I think those gods are important to have separate identities. And the witch's devil is Hecate's male counterpart. He's the father of witchcraft. He's the illuminator, the revealer. He reveals the wisdom, and he initiates witches into the craft. And he reveals the craft to witches. And I think there's an interesting dynamic between Hecate and the witch's devil, as Hecate is more being worshipped, and the witch's devil he's kind of like a hidden back figure that most people don't really worship. Well, at least the same way they would Hecate. And I view Hecate to be a very important figure within witchcraft, and I view the witch's devil to be a very important thing in witchcraft. And unfortunately, the witch's devil, he has like a bad rap about him, because people associate him with like Ha-Satan Lucifer or Satan himself, and I think there's a connection between the two, but I don't view them to be the same beings. I think Lucifer is an embodiment of the witch's devil, but I don't think he is the same person. He's not the same deity. Because obviously Lucifer isn't a deity, he's more of an angelic, higher being. And I don't view them to be the same thing, so for me, both of those are key figures within my craft. And then there's other beings and deities that I revere, like Baka or Baphomet or a couple different demons. And then the other main thing I worship is the land itself, the Dragon's Pulse. The Dragon's Pulse is hard to explain, but it's mainly rooted in the concept of the Sproul, however you pronounce that. And that's really the current of magic power that runs within the land. And it's the power that gives life. And a lot of my craft is focused on those three aspects: Hecate, the Witch's Devil, and the Dragon's Pulse. And all three of those together are the main focus. They're what my praxis is based out of. And so that brings me to magic. Magic, to me, is, we can't ever run out of it, but there's a finite amount of it. Like, we're never gonna run out of magic because it's constantly being changed and evolved into different things, but I think there's definitely a limited amount of, say, love magic within the world. I think there's a certain amount of people that can be in love at this very moment in time. And when you cast a spell for love, for example, that shifts someone else, someone you may not know, someone you may know, out of love, and brings whoever you're trying to get into love into love. It's an exchange program, and that constant exchange is pretty much the flow of life. You can't have one thing without destroying another. You can't, like, you can transfer, like, if you're really, to get around that in Minecraft, you can sacrifice and have different forms of power in order to transfer a different type of energies into love. You can sacrifice, you can offer blood offerings, chanting, all kinds of stuff, but it's not free, and there's a finite amount. You have to either transfer power or change power into a different form before that can happen. You can't just magically hope that love exists within it, because that's not going to happen. And then, like I said, nature is really the base of my craft, and so how my magic works is very science-based as well. If I wanted to conjure a storm, for example, I look at how the physical manifestations of a storm come to be. There's the ocean, and then water rises and evaporates into the atmosphere, creating clouds, and those clouds move to a low pressure area, and they condense, and then they fall to the earth. So in order to create a storm, when I'm doing a spell, when I'm focused on the power aspect of that spell, when I'm releasing that magic into the world, I'm focused on creating the ocean. I'm making it evaporate the water into the air, and then I have to make sure to focus on a low pressure system moving into the area that I want a storm to be conjured from. And by doing so, that makes it, I think, easier for me to manifest things into being. If it's, and it gets a little bit trickier when it comes to things like love and money, because, it's not like when you do a money spell, money's gonna fall from your ceiling and you're gonna instantly have a couple $100. That's not how it is. You need to go out there, and you need to make a pathway for your magic to manifest. You can't expect your magic to be like fairy tale. It's not gonna ping pong or pop and you're gonna have everything you want. You need to go out and apply for positions and apply for areas where money can make its way to you. And I think there's a relationship between the person casting the spell with the power, and then person who it's for. So as if the person who is receiving the magic for the money, if they're working hard to get money, I think that magic gets fueled more, and it's more likely to happen and happen stronger within that person. So I don't think that you can just go to a witch and expect money either. You have to have this, you have to be working with the magic itself in order for magic to manifest. And I kind of apply that to most of my craft. So let's see, is there anything else? There's nothing, I don't think there's anything really else. If you have any questions, you can always submit them to cosmicwitchcraft.tumblr.com, and then I'll answer them. And if you have any ideas for any other videos you want to see, feel free to send me a message or leave a comment, and I'll be happy to do them.